This week on the Afro Journal.
So I flew from Lagos. What's it called? What's the airport in Lagos again? Murtala
Murtala
Mohammed.
Mohammed, yeah.
Yeah, correct. So that was my first time ever flying my entire life, right? So and yeah, bro. And then I had to fly to the US. Like,
Wait, did you come by yourself?
I came all by myself, bro.
Damn, bro.
Exactly as an athlete, I saw a 6'7" guy from Nigeria with an accent, right? Actually, what Howard did for me was like help me embrace my accent. When you speak and people like, beautiful girls like, oh, I love your accent. Where you from? Where's that accent from?
Yes.
So I was forced to actually embrace who I am, right? And
Yep.
and then my aunt wasn't. She was trying. She did all the best she could. She sells like fufu. So what I do is in the morning I will hawk fufu, right?
So you used to hawk fufu?
Yes.
You are hawking
Bro.
fufu.
I hawked
Just-
fufu
just-
in them. So when I went to the junior college in Wyoming, the only black guys in the entire school was the basketball team, right?
Yo.
And the is in
No.
New York. And there's something about this American glow. The moment you hit
Facts,
right?
bro.
there's this glow, your skin, everything.
The skin
your
is
smile.
different, like that.
So that's something.
Yo, guy. Yo.
Oh my God.
Oh
Yo, Chiso,
my
man. We've
God.
this, like, bro,
Guy.
18 episodes.
We're just
18.
coming. We're
Bro.
moving. We're
my
moving,
gosh.
fam. Like, oh, man.
We have a very special guest.
Ooh,
We have a very special guest.
madness.
But welcome back to the Afro Journal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just teasing you. It's your boy.
Tease them.
It's your boy, Peter Ikechukwu Mchibuzaliogo Jr.
And it's your boy Chisom AJK Jeremiah Okafor.
And we have another handsome, young entrepreneurship like Bado, Niger boy on the block.
Niger boy
Igbo
in the
boss.
block.
Hey, Igwe.
They are not ready for this one though. Three
Yo,
Niger
like-
boys. Oh boy, I feel like people will be complaining too much.
Oh my God! Please just what's your name? Just give them your name. Just give them your name, please. Just drop your name real quick.
My name is Michael.
Can you guys hear his voice? My name is Michael. Oh, Bado. But let's get into the proverb of last week. Let's explain that a little bit. Go ahead.
Dope. So, as you all know, every week we have a proverb. So the proverb for last week was, "Do not think there are no crocodiles because the water is calm." Do not think there are no crocodiles because the water is calm. And what that means, I feel like the best, should I say, analogy I can build off of this is like when you first get into a relationship with a woman, right? It's like, obviously it's nice, the butterflies are flowing, everything is calm, cool. All of a sudden, 6 months in, boom, you see the crazy side come out. The crazy side of the crazy side of relationships. So yo, guys, do not think that everything is going to be smooth just because there's some calmness right now.
Always have
think
your eyes
about it.
open.
Exactly.
Always have
Keep
your eyes open. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, like I said already, we have a very special guest today.
Yeah.
One of my boys from way back before I even met Chiso.
Boy,
You know what I
from the
mean?
ends.
like when I just touched ground in the America
United
like
States.
this. I like I said in my previous day, I was the only Nigerian boy for a while in my whole school.
Mhm.
Then all of a sudden, one Nigerian guy came in and pleased and it made me so happy that I could have like not only an African person, but like a
Yeah.
Nigerian person specifically.
Yep.
And guess who that person was? It's the person you see today. Please introduce yourself, man.
Where should I even start from? How should I introduce myself? Should I give them the full gist?
Give
should I
them the whole resume, your age, your job, your how tall are you, everything.
Say how tall are you?
Okay. So actually, my full name is Michael Obindu. I actually was born and raised in Nigeria, Orile Gomu, like real Lagosian. So I actually
Lagos
moved to the
boy.
States as a junior in high school to Admiral Farragut, where I actually met Peter in Florida. And then
AFA.
I'm kind of tall. I'm not. I don't want to see. I don't want to like
You
brag or
guys say I'm
look like
kind of
too
tall.
high. I'm kind of tall, but I played basketball in Admiral Fire a year, and then I decided to transfer to a prep school in California
This guy left
because
me, oh, by the
yeah, I
way.
left you. I left you. I wasn't getting the looks in terms of like colleges that I wanted. So
Mhm.
when I went to California, I decided to commit to a junior college in Wyoming. So I
Mhm.
spent a year in a junior college, and then I actually moved to transfer to a 4 year college to Howard
Mm.
University in Washington
This guy
D.C.
went to Harvard.
Yes, sir. So that's
DC
where
boy.
I played basketball for Howard as well, and I got my BS in economics, and then after I graduated, I decided to pursue my master's in finance, which
Hey,
I graduated last year, and right now I'm working with IBM. So
this
Nice
guy,
one.
that's
this
me.
guy is just dropping a little, just a speck of what he's accomplished in his life. Because trust me, his story is not, or it's not like an easy. It's not an easy path. It's not clear. You know what I mean? This man
Facts.
have gone through a lot. That's the truth, and we're going to get into that in this episode. But like we
Facts.
said, me and him, let's talk about how me and him, knew each other because he was the first Nigerian person I met in the U.S.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Mm.
Out of all the seas of Americans, with my accent, with my mannerisms and everything like that, he was the first person I saw. Like I was so comfortable of just expressing myself, my,
Just
my
being
true
a
self. You know what I
proper
mean?
Niger boy, you know.
Yes, because like when we first, Africa was a military school. We both knew that we used to wear uniform and stuff like that, and like they had a whole bunch of spoiled American rich kids. You know what I mean? It was just completely a different vibe. So like when I came and I saw you, I was like so happy. Do you remember like our first experience? Like how was that experience like for you coming into the US, coming to a military school? Like how was that like? Like how did you land? You feel me?
yeah. So good question, great question. So I flew from Lagos. What's it called? What's the airport in Lagos again? Murtala Mohammed.
Murtala Mohammed, yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, correct. So that was my first time ever flying my entire life, right?
Mm.
So and yeah, bro. And then I had to fly to the US. Like
Wait,
how
did you
far?
come by yourself?
I came all by myself, bro.
Damn, bro.
Right? I came all by myself, and so
Wow.
I didn't even know where I was going. Right? I couldn't even read my what's it called, my itinerary, my tickets. Right? I didn't know where I was going. So, but what God did for me was when I got into the plane, I actually met this lady. She's actually a woman, a mom. And I opened up and I was like, hey, I'm going to the US. I've never been. I've never flew before. And she was like, oh my gosh, where's your parents? I was like, I'm just here by myself, right? And then, Nigerian parents now, she was like, okay, just stay with me. Whatever you do, right? Just stay with me. And I was like, yeah, right? So she
Yeah.
asked me where I was going. I was like, oh, I'm going to Florida. And then she checked my itinerary, my ticket, and she saw that I have a connecting flight in JFK, right? So
Mm-hmm.
From New
so when I
York.
flew, I flew Qatar Airways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Mm.
it Qatar Airways or Qatar Airlines? It's one of them.
Either
Anyone,
ones.
either
Yeah,
one.
Either
it's,
Yeah,
ones.
they
yeah, it's
understand what
one
you're
of
talking
those
about.
Airways or Airlines. Yeah. So when I got to Qatar, I didn't understand the time difference, right?
Yeah.
And I
uh,
had this Nokia touch, those Nokia, just like come
Those
like
blue
like
small phones. I know the ones you're talking
this
about.
Nokia phone, touch light, and I kept looking at the time, bro. Bro, to be honest, like if not for that lady, I would have missed my flight because I had a layover in Qatar. So,
mm,
but the lady actually she held me by my hands, actually took me to my flight, and then we stopped. When I got to JFK, she actually walked me
Mm-hmm.
to what's it called,
Your
the
gate.
gate,
Yeah.
right? So when I got to the gate, I took the flight to was it the JetBlue Airlines to
yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
to yeah, correct, to Florida, to Orlando, right? So when I got to Orlando, I saw the coach. What's his name? Brutus, right?
Yes.
Brutus.
I saw the name I saw the coach Brutus
With your
with
name on
what's
it.
his name, with my name and whatever. And then I was like, and he was like, Michael. I was like, yeah. And then he shook my hands, and he was like, welcome. I was like, thank you. And he was like, do you need something to eat? Meanwhile, this was like 9:10 p.m. Correct? It was late,
Mm.
and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm starving. Right? I felt like I was flying at that point for like 2 days for real. Like it
Yeah.
Yeah.
felt
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
crazy. And then so when he took me, and then we stopped at this freaking McDonald's, bro. And this guy
McDonald's
got
for
me
the first time.
McDonald's for the
That
first
was the
time.
first time,
And this guy
yo.
got me like all those double cheeseburger and this
Yeah.
big
Yeah. He was like, I've landed.
bro and say, yeah. And then he started telling me about things he was expecting. The conversation was just because it was a 2 hours ride from Orlando to St.
Yeah, yeah,
Petersburg.
yeah,
So the
yeah, yeah.
conversation was just like what he expects from me.
Yeah.
The kind of grades he expects from me and how he wanted me to perform. And then he told me about this Nigerian kid that that we have in the school. And I was like, oh,
Was it Peter I
go-
was talking about?
Yes.
What?
yeah, he was
Why?
talking about this Nigerian kid. It was Peter, and then he's like Peter Aliogo.
Yeah.
This American accent, like
Yeah.
Aliogo. And I was like, oh, who is he? He was like, yeah, he's a very smart kid, and he's not. He was like, he's not gonna be your roommate, but he's going to be your neighbor because. And then I was like, okay.
So
And then
yeah,
he was
happy
like, yeah,
Peter.
he told me about Peter's parents and told me like that he looks like his parents are well to do. He's a well groomed young man. I was like, okay, let me meet this guy.
Let me see this
I
man.
at first I was like, this guy sounds like all those Lecky and VI
Oh,
boys.
those lucky
All
boys,
those,
man. I'll
all
be
those
proud.
kids, all those
Funny
boys.
enough, I am a lucky and VI boy.
I was like, and so I got there and I saw Peter, and Peter looked at me. We just looked at each other. We were like, what's up? Like, I was like, how you doing, man? He was like, hey, we just introduced ourselves, like, casually, like,
In my head, I was like, I've never seen a person a Nigerian as tall as this guy. You know what I mean? I saw tall Nigerians, but I didn't see
yeah,
like 6'5", 6'6", tall
right.
ass
Yeah, I was
Nigerians.
6'5" at that point. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I grew 2 inches, so I'm 6'7" right now. But yeah, I was
Hey,
5 at that
drop
point.
that. Let's drop that. Drop
But yeah,
that.
so
6'7". Almost. See legs. This guy not
Yo,
tall.
I
He's
need some
long.
height, man. Where are my 5'9" niggas at? Shout out to my 5'9" niggas, bro. We're holding it down. For
I'm
sure.
holding it down for the
Holding it
people.
down.
no, for real. So yeah, so actually when I met Peter, I was like, okay, it's great to have someone who looks like me and who kind of sound like me and who
Mhm.
understands and someone like just to keep it simple, someone from my own like
From Nigeria.
continent.
A
From
Nigeria boy,
not necessarily, yeah, exactly.
the
So
guy
I
we
was
go understand how far. Like
Yeah, yeah.
exactly
you don't need
like
to
that.
be doing how are you doing today?
Oh
It's like
my
all this
god, bro.
rubbish.
You don't even understand. Just so man, you don't understand.
You
Like
can talk to them, you don't have to sing to them.
we're
Because-
literally the only African kids. You know what I mean? Literally
Yeah.
the only
Literally.
African kids. So
Literally,
like just
the
imagine
only-
like no Africans, just us. It's just like, bro, there's no person that can understand what you're trying to say. You know what I mean?
that's true. And coming in with that thick ass Nigerian accent, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you have to say the same thing 3 times for people to be like,
Yo.
oh, you're trying to
Yes.
say this.
Hey, saying you don't know nothing, but I'm gonna tell you something. You know what I'm saying? Hey, yo.
And-
Yes,
yes.
exactly.
But the fact that I could just like talk to Peter, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think the fact my meeting with Peter, what that she did for me was see how I could relate with Peter, like okay, normal Nigerian guy, and then
Yeah.
I learned how I watched Peter, like interact with white people and these African Americans, and I saw how he carried himself and he talked to them, for them
Yeah.
to actually get the full gist of
Understand
what he was trying to
what-
say.
Hey, what's up, bro? This is your guy Bosco on the mix. I'm in the building. You know what that is. You know what time it is, bro. What's up?
So I was like, okay, all right, this is how I had to like relearn how to enunciate my words and how to pronounce my words and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So just me and Peter, we had a great time, right?
Yeah,
we
so-
had we had great conversations as to where we wanted to go,
Yes.
we wanted to achieve. But we had our own little misunderstanding. But I think we'll
Yes.
have to wait to get
Yes.
there. But yeah, so that was
Yeah.
that was my whole gist as to coming from a different country and coming to America where I had no parents. I flew into the country by myself, and I had to meet people that I've never met in my life before. Just the cultural shock and the cultural differences and the barriers that I had to go through.
Yeah.
But the moment I saw Peter, and I was like, I'm not going through this by myself, right?
Yes.
That was
yes,
like,
yes, yes.
That was a relief.
I remember like in AFA, like we have like different uniforms, right, and stuff like that. And I remember like the first time where you like they gave you like the belt and everything to wear. You know, what I mean, this tall ass guy was not, having all these shorts and like putting on his belt with a t-shirt. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A short sleeve t-shirt. I was just like, bro, man, you're looking funny as hell, man. They did you
Yeah,
bad.
you told me.
They
You
did
told
you
me that one
bad.
time. You said, bro, you look funny as hell, bro. 'Cause
Yeah.
my trousers were so big and long.
Yes,
And I
yes,
was so
bro. They messed you
skinny, bro.
up.
It
They
messed
messed
me
you up.
up.
But obviously, he readjusted as
Exactly,
he
bro.
got used to the culture and everything like that.
I remember my first haircut, bro, in that school.
The
They gave me
haircut.
that
Wait,
military.
what haircut did you come in with? What haircut did you come into
Bro,
the
I
country
came in
with?
with a normal, like, fro and just normal,
Okay.
like, side, like,
Yes.
Okay. So
without
decent,
side
decent.
tape and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
my hair was like, full. So he was like, you need a hair. My coach was like, you need a haircut.
Haircut.
So I did.
It was
And
this
then
coat
he took
white.
me to this barber, bro. My basketball coach, bro. He took me to this barber,
This
like,
guy says this is cool. Yo,
I'm
Chiso,
just
you're
like,
funny,
I
man.
mean,
Chiso,
if a
you're
white
funny.
man is out here telling me I need a haircut, I'm
Chiso
like,
is looking for something to pull strings.
I'm
bro,
like,
the guy,
was this guy white?
the guy messed me up.
Oh
The
my
guy,
god. I
like,
remember.
you remember Peter?
This guy was putting his head in the right. It's like, yo, man, what the
Yeah, I
hell?
was like, bro, the guy
Just
Yeah.
messed
imagine.
me
Okay,
up,
okay.
bro.
Put this in perspective, right? Fresh off the boat, Niger boy, trying to find his footing here. One of the things that was huge for us at that time was our hair.
Yes.
Even from secondary school,
Mhm.
pray let this. Because I don't know if you went to boarding school, we can get into that later. But in my boarding school, we were literally prayed, let them allow us to grow out our hair. When I came to America, my hair wasn't all that, it was
Mhm.
But yo, one of the things that is huge for us is our hair. And then this white man now comes and tells me I need to barb my hair. And then, hey,
It was
now
no, it
mess
was
me
it's
up.
because of the military school. They tell everyone to barb their hair.
Yeah, it's a military school, yeah.
Yeah. It was
The
like
rules.
it was kind of like, oh, your hair cannot touch your ears or something
Yeah.
like that. That was one of the rules, and it was just like weird like that. But I remember when they cut his hair, I was like, yo, man, they did me wrong. But like those were just the easy things. I remember when taking you to the cafeteria for the first time,
Correct.
all this kind of shit. When we were ordering pizza, going to the field,
Correct.
figuring out all this, going to the mall, the American mall for the first time.
Correct.
What's the name of that mall? I forgot the name, but it was like
I
a
can't even
mall close to
remember.
us.
Yeah, but I can't remember the name. But I definitely remember going to the mall with you guys. And also, yo, that early morning, like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Wake
I'll
up
have to
call,
stand at attention,
and then we have
make
to
sure
start
everyone is
attention.
around.
Bro, that was so unnecessary. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
Yeah.
complaining, but looking back in my head, I was like, that was so
Why?
to be waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And stand attention. Sometimes, the Florida weather is very bipolar, right? Sometimes it's like super warm, and in the mornings it's always cold.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So we're just gonna stand there for like an hour, and then we're gonna stand in a line to walk into the cafeteria to get food,
Mhm.
and then we're going to eat like for like 30 minutes, and then the bell will ring. You run into your room to
You
grab
guys
your
had
bags.
bells.
Yeah, bro, we had bells.
And then you run to your class, and then you go to your class, and after class, right? I'll go play basketball, and Peter will go play football and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and it's just this circle of doing the same thing all the
Over and
time.
over again.
No, at that point in our life, for me, right, I'll speak for myself. I loved doing that, right? But
Yeah.
it got to a point where I just kept asking myself, like, do I want to do this for another year? I need to.
That's why this guy left me.
It
but he was
literally
like, "I'm
reminds
out."
me of secondary school, because even
I'm
in
out.
secondary school, when we were in boarding school, it
Yeah.
was the same. Obviously, it wasn't a military school, so I always started at attention for an hour for no reason. But
Mhm.
we wake up at 5 a.m. for morning devotion. You go shower, you go for breakfast, you come back, you do assembly again. It's like very so much structure in your life that you're just
Yeah.
like, bro, like, I'm never going to wake up at 5 a.m. willingly. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me personally, because I needed it, because I was I wasn't like a bad kid, but I needed a certain type of structure and discipline in my life, So
I mean, you're
AFA
a
was
sports
really good
kid.
for me. I'm not really. Are you mad?
I mean, you're on
You
sports.
mad?
Like, your parents didn't spoil you, but you are just sports.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
You know?
I don't understand. I don't even understand that kind of.
That's why they had to send- That's why they had to send you to military school.
So
fam.
that's
They're like, we
fucked
need to
up.
fix this boy.
Yo, okay. I won't consider myself. It was just me personally. It was not because of my parents. It was just
That's what I'm saying.
my own
Your
personal
parents didn't
problem.
spoil you.
And I won't call that sport. I was just indisciplined. That was literally just it. You know what I mean? It's not as if I was smoking drugs, smashing girls or anything like that. I was just out here, not being serious in my school. Kind of. And I was still good in mathematics. I was still good in the sciences. It was just the English, French, history, geography, all those nonsense. You know what I mean? That I didn't know. So they were like, oh, you need to, you need discipline. So that was basically
Yeah.
just it. And I wanted to bring this up with Michael because we didn't really talk about this too much when we were in AFA. Like, bro, were you able to? Because I know that you were low key toasting some girls after a while. Like, how was that transition of like, getting from fresh off the boat, understanding the whole climate, looking at yourself in this, sociable circle. You know what I mean? How were you able to like, okay, like maybe like
Build
how
up
were you
the
able to,
confidence and all
get a
that.
relationship out of that? Start thinking about all this kind of stuff. Because obviously you're a guy. You already saw some cute girls at AFA. There's some cute girls at AFA. You know what I mean? Like, how were you able to, move from there?
Yeah. Great question.
With your
Actually,
accent too.
with my accent too. So I'll start with AFA, right? So when I got into AFA, right, there were a few African American girls that was like feeling me, right? Who's this
Mm-hmm.
African guy? And I was playing basketball. I was doing my thing. I was like my name, like the school actually know who I was at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point in my life, bro, I was this innocent, like for real. Like when I
Yeah.
came from Nigeria, I was this innocent
You're
boy.
a
Like
good boy.
I had plans. I was like, once I enter Yankee, I want to do this. I want to achieve this. I want to
Mm-hmm.
go to college.
Yep.
I wanted to play NBA. I wanted to play professional basketball. Right, that
Mm-hmm.
was my goal. Correct. So when those AFA girls was like feeling me, like I wanted to actually like play the game with them, but
Yeah.
at that point in my life, the game wasn't part of me, bro. I didn't know
Yeah.
anything. I was still trying to figure out, okay, what kind of life do I want to live in this country? So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so I didn't grow into that. So when I went to California, the same thing. I went to an all boys prep school. All
Hey,
boys.
All
Jesus.
boys.
I
God
wasn't, guy,
damn,
I wasn't
bro.
seeing no girls, right? I wasn't seeing, bro. They stabbed my eyes, bro. All boys,
Jesus.
right? Like they starved me, bro. And you know the craziest thing? I was living with my coach.
Hey.
That man, bro. All I did was from my room to my bathroom, shower, brush my teeth, get dressed to school,
Yeah.
right, and then come back and do the same thing. So in my head, I was like, I should have stayed in AFA, bro. like, bro, like I should,
I'm like, I thought.
like I should have just stayed in AFA, bro. So after 1 year, I could not wait to leave. So when I committed to the junior college, see, I understand this whole having a structure and having a like a parent figure, like a
Having a
trusted
routine and
figure.
stuff like
I
that.
understand that, but what that does is it doesn't help your people skills, your social skills. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
when you
yeah.
when you when you
Yep.
leave that setting and then you go to a setting where you have to like express and introduce
And
us
readjust.
the
You
people
know
and
what I mean?
readjust, you find it hard because you don't have no social skills. So when I
Yeah.
Yep.
went to the junior college in Wyoming, the only black guys in the entire school was the
Jesus.
basketball team, right? And
Yo.
and my coach was a white guy. He told me, be careful about the girls. Don't do drugs. If you get caught, you're going to jail or you're going to get kicked out. He was like, be careful about those white girls. If you hurt anyone, they can say, oh, you're done. Right?
That's facts,
So
bro.
that
That's stories
fear,
I've
bro,
heard too.
bro,
Like stuff I
that
thought
fear
about
factor, I
seriously.
was like, bro, I need to like just be on my best behavior. So I didn't chase any girls in junior college. And then
Mhm.
boom, Howard offered, right?
Hey.
My guy. My guy.
Come on,
Howard offered. I went
man.
to Howard
Well,
for
yeah,
my
I went to
visit
Howard University.
He
Oh
saw
my
the
god.
melanin.
in Washington,
Oh.
D.C.
In my life, I've never seen melanin so. Oh my god.
Man, I got to Howard, right? When I committed to Howard, I got to Howard. The
Mhm.
first thing I said in my head was, all right, bet. I need to change how I dress,
Ah,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Then at that point I was making like small cash. I need to change
wait,
how I
wait,
dress.
hold on, Michael, real quick. What triggered that? Was it that you just got to Howard, you saw babes, or just that you looked around, just that you know what, it's my
No,
time.
Time to level up.
Why you like it's my time, or was it
actually,
like
what triggered that for me was when I went for my visit, right? And
yeah,
Mhm.
so there's this Howard does this Soul Food Thursday where everybody like it's like 1,000 students in the cafeteria. I'm
Mhm.
talking about 1,000 black people,
mm,
and the
damn,
the ratio as to boys to girls is It's like 5-1, bro. Like five
The
to one, bro.
opposite of where we were at university.
Yeah.
Opposite
Bro,
of
and
us.
then when you exclude the gay guys, right, and you exclude the guys that are not really no for real from when you exclude the gay guys from the equation and guys that are not really,
Almost.
you know, they're
I think
not,
it's like
you know, like
seven to
they
one.
don't have swag. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and then as an
It's not like 1 to 10.
exactly as an athlete, I saw a 6'7" guy from Nigeria with an accent, right?
Mhm.
Actually, what Howard did for me was like help me embrace my accent. When you speak and people like, beautiful girls like, oh, I love your accent. Where you from? Where's that
Yeah.
Oh
accent from?
yes, yes, yes,
So I
yes.
was forced to actually embrace who I am, right? And
Yes.
Yep.
and in Nigeria, right? I think as a guy, right, you have to in Nigeria, then you have to be like this light skin, big guys. That's what they find attractive. When you're skinny and tall in
Mhm.
Nigeria, people don't really see that as whatever, right? So when I came
Mhm.
to the States at Howard and people were talking about my jawline, my cheekbones, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's over.
Actually, bro, I won't lie to you. Like what you just said is kind of true. Cause like okay, in Nigeria they like pretty boys.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
like
yeah.
when they say like pretty boy, in America, like they like the rugged
They
guys.
like the
Like
macho
No,
guys.
the G's, the macho. Like
Yeah.
it's the first like the first time I heard about jawline. All these extra
Yeah.
things was
So
when
you're
I
so
came to
right.
America. In
yeah,
Nigeria, they'll be like, oh, your lips are pink. Oh, your
yeah,
eyebrows. Like shit like
Yes,
that.
your
So,
eyebrows.
all this kind of compliment in America. Like, oh, your jawline.
Oh, you have
yeah.
dimples.
Oh,
Like in
exactly. Your
Nigeria, like look at
muscles.
that yellow. We call light skin. Like, see, look at that yellow boy.
Yeah.
Like that fine yellow boy.
Yeah.
And then when you come to America, people are telling you like, okay, your jawline, your cheekbones, and
Your
Yeah.
those
beard.
features that actually set you apart, right? They
Mhm.
start like and then you grow into yourself. So yeah, so I met this chick,
Chiquito.
my sophomore year that
Nice
actually
one.
was like, okay, we need to change your dressing, and she's from New York, right?
From
She
New
just
York.
transferred from New York, and
Yeah.
we she transferred from the school from New York, in New York, sorry. And then she took me, we went shopping, and she was like, okay, you should dress like this, you should dress like this, you should do this, you should do that. And I was like, bet, and I changed my dressing and the way I dressed, and
After
bro,
that,
after that, bro,
Game over. Game over. Game over.
I don't know what I can say or what I cannot say in this podcast. As a Nigerian
hey,
man,
Yeah.
and say as much as you want to say, man. You know, I mean, say as much as you want. Say
Yeah.
what you're
Open
comfortable
forum.
with. Say what
Open
you're
forum,
comfortable with
man.
telling.
bro, at that time, after that, it felt like,
Too much.
it
He
felt
was praying.
crazy,
Assaulted.
too much, right? It felt too much, too much,
He
bro.
looks
I can't even,
tired.
My
bro, I
guy's
can't even
tired. He's
explain,
like, oh,
bro,
boy, man.
bro,
Yo.
bro.
My
It
guy's
was
taking a
crazy.
nap.
It was crazy. But yeah. So that was how the whole I transitioned from this shy guy to
Mhm.
this guy that I was just like no, like close mouth don't get fed, bro.
Yeah, and I think what's also important as we move on from this topic is that your academics was also steady and strong after
Correct.
that. You know what I mean?
Correct.
You're
Yeah.
still able to graduate, and you even went on to do your masters. You know what I mean? I mean, how was that transition too of like going to the academic class, especially being the tall black athlete of all those stereotypes of your dorm? You know what I mean? You're just here just to play basketball. How did you deal with that kind of stereotype
Yeah.
that was put on you that you have no idea of in Nigeria? Like how did that affect you?
Yeah. So wow. I think that's going to always be part of my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it's just society, when they see a tall black man, the first thing they think is basketball and athletes, right? They don't think
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
about an engineer, a doctor, or what's it called, a businessman, right? So,
Yeah.
when I went into Howard, I saw a lot of my peers, my teammates, being known as like basketball players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be known as okay, a student and a basketball player, right? I just don't want
Mm-hmm.
to. I don't want to walk into a class and be like, oh, Michael, that basketball player, right? So
Yes.
what I did was I was able to find a community and group of people that outside my basketball teammate, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yep.
people that I study with, people that I
Mm.
hang out with, that's not just basketball players. People
Mm-hmm.
people that I do fun thing with, people that I can just talk to that are
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
basketball players.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment
Yeah.
I was able to do that, right, during the game, I'm hanging out with my basketball guys, right, and
Mm-hmm.
outside the court, I'm hanging out with just regular students
Regular
that that
students.
actually have 4.0s and 3.8s, right? So
Mhm.
so that was what I did, right? So when I started playing basketball, the transition wasn't that hard for me because I
Mhm.
already have family and friends
Mhm.
outside, the basketball team,
Mhm.
right? If that makes sense. So,
Yep.
Mhm.
so when I got into my masters, of course, wherever you go, you have to prove yourself, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So when I got
100%.
into my master's program, I had to prove myself. Because you're dealing with like intelligent people, right? So
Yes.
when you say something during presentation, you have to speak confidently and actually
Mhm.
stand by what you say, right? And
Yep.
even if
Mhm.
you don't know what you're saying, sound as if you know what you're
You
saying,
say
right? So
Fake it till you
ah.
make it,
yeah,
man. Fake it till you
well, like
make
jump
it.
Yes.
going at the end of the day,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't carry last,
Ah, Nigeria they carry last at all, man. That's one
like
thing
so.
facts.
Yo.
So that's what I did. So I think what did it for me was we there's this class we took financial accounting, right?
Mhm.
And after the exam, right, the guy and people were asking about grades, and I scored like 95 out of like 100, right?
Mhm.
I think that was what did it for me because people liked me, but people were like, oh, he's tall, he's an athlete. I come to class with my ESPS, like two hoops earrings like this,
Mhm.
with a
Mm-hmm.
gold chain, and that's how I dress to class, like this guy who just wants to have fun. So people are like,
Yeah.
I'm not a nerd. I have a balance, bro. Like
Yeah.
I
Yes.
read and I have fun, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So people were like, who's this guy? People were like hesitant to actually reach out to me and study. So
Mhm.
once they saw my test grade, they were like, okay, this guy, and that was
This guy
people like
means business.
gravitated towards me, like, okay,
Mhm.
Yep.
this guy can have fun and he reads too. So I
Yeah.
Yep.
think that was what did it for me. People were like, okay, man,
Yeah.
Obi, speak to Obi, speak to Michael.
Facts.
Mhm.
He's good at finance. He has a
Uh,
background in economics. Like,
mhm.
that was what did it for me. And
Facts, bro.
Honestly, yeah, because honestly, I think me and Chisholm had that same. Well, we didn't have that issue in WPI. I think our issues of WPI was just because of we were just in a sea of white and we're the black ones. You know
Yep.
what I mean? I think
Yep.
that
yeah,
was kind of like the stereotype we had
Like
to
we
deal
just
with.
stood out. We stood out way too much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of like anything you do is like,
It's
and the
there's
community
a
is so small
magnifying
too.
glass on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you
Exactly.
like fuck up, you're like, oh, you're that black person that fucked up. Oh, you know what I mean?
correct,
So
correct.
it was kind of like that for us.
And just to add to what you say, I think even right now at what I do, my job, right? It's still a constant. Like you have to prove yourself, right? I
Yep.
was having this one-on-one with an executive in at IBM, and so I was telling him, I was a student athlete, and when I was, introducing myself to him, and he was like, and then he was like, yeah, he was a wrestler when he was in college, but
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
he didn't want his kids to actually be athlete because to be, athlete in college because he feels like, that actually, would deprive them from, from actually being, the scholar that he wants his kids to be, like in terms
Mm.
of
Mm-hmm.
like getting good grades and stuff like
Yep.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, I felt like that. I just felt like a slight shade, right? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, actually, I can relate to that. Because my parents, I was raised in a household and where my parents actually, preach about, for us to strive for education first and good
Yes.
grades and things
Yep.
like that.
You're a Ninja boy.
Exactly. I was like, for me, to be honest, basketball was a means to an end for me, and
Mm-hmm.
I was able, as a student athlete, I was able to graduate with my master's program with a 3.7 GPA.
Mm.
Not.
When
Not
I
You
said
that.
done
that, he
with
was
that?
like, wow. He was like, wow, right? So I had to
Yeah.
let him know that, hey, I'm not here because,
I'm not here
diversity
because of luck, or
Diversity
or
diversity.
or
Yeah,
diversity.
yeah,
He
yeah, yeah.
wants the
yeah.
company to be
I'm
diverse.
the real deal.
I'm here because, I was favored. I
Mm-hmm.
understand that, but I actually, worked hard for it, right?
Yes.
Facts.
So yeah, so I've always been the person where I tell people all the time, whatever you do, bro, don't sell yourself short, bro. Like,
Facts.
Straight
don't
Hundred
sell
up.
yourself
percent.
short. Talk about your accomplishments and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
100%. Like when did you like make that shift? So you're like, okay, basketball is a means to an end. Because you said earlier that your goal was playing the NBA, right? So
yeah,
you got your scholarship to AFA. You went to Wyoming. Howard, all in the hopes of making it to the NBA. So when did that shift happen from like, okay, NBA to finance and economics?
to be honest, I just realized I wasn't good enough to play in the NBA.
Uh
I just first thing I
was
realized,
it hard? Was it hard to like accept like yo, it's hard, man? Like
yeah, it was hard, but I'm still a realistic guy at the same time. So you just
Yeah.
have to like. So I said to myself, bro, like I'm good, right? I played against guys going to the NBA like Lonzo Ball and
Mm-hmm.
a few other guys that I played. I was like, okay, I I'm not going to play. I'm not going to play the NBA. I'm not good enough, right? I am not good enough to play in the
Yeah.
NBA. And then, but I was thinking about overseas, right? I
Mm-hmm.
have because when I played against those guys going to the NBA, I was able to hold my ground. But
Mm-hmm.
I was like, But for me, it wasn't a do or die because I knew I could succeed in anything I do, right? So when I got to
Facts.
Howard, my junior year, um, I was practicing, and then I had like shortness of breath, and
Mm-hmm.
so I told my coach, and I stopped. Right, I wasn't, and then I went to a cardiologist, the team cardiologist, and
Mm-hmm.
run a test and whatever, and he told me that I have an enlarged heart. Right,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
so that medical issue. So he told me I have an enlarged heart, but that most big guys usually their heart is actually bigger than normal because you're a big guy and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I was feeling pain, right, uncomfortable pain, like sharp pain sometimes when I'm exercising. So I spoke to my mom about the issue, and my mom was like, "Hey, yo, like, be careful, whatever, like, my there's like we have like heart issue in my family, right? So,
Yes,
Mm.
yes, yes, yes.
so my mom advised me to like, to just
Cool
be
down.
careful,
Yeah.
to cool down. And then the doctor, and then so it was my decision. So when the doctor asked me, and the doctor was like, if I wanted to continue, it's my call. So I was like, no, bro, I think I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Howard was like, all right, Howard was like, whatever you decide, you've been a great kid, you've been a great teammate, you've been a great, student for us. Whatever you
Yeah.
decide, you're going to graduate, and you can actually get your master's if you want. So I was
Nice.
like, so I didn't feel the pressure to continue playing just to
Mm-hmm.
go
Just
through,
to survive, you
just to
know?
survive and get my college degree. I was just like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? I need my life, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I have more to give,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Yep.
to the world. So I told my coach, I, I mean, no, like I'm
Yeah.
done, right? And then they
Mm-hmm.
were
Yep.
like, cool. And I was still part of the team, but I stopped being part of the team because I just could not take it because basketball was who I was, right? This, was a
Mm-hmm.
big part of me for the long since I came to this country, right? That was my
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
identity, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
just being able to like, um, you know, move, transfer, move from, being a student athlete to just a
Being
student
a
was really
student.
tough for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Was that your
that
junior year?
transition that was my junior year.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah,
Okay.
so that transition wasn't sweet at all, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
well, I mean, I could definitely see it could have been an emotional one. You know what I mean?
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
In an
bro. I'm not
emotional
gonna
one
lie.
because of,
I'm not even gonna lie. I cried like
of
every night,
course.
bro. I used to
Damn.
just sit down and cry, bro. And be like, God,
Mm-hmm.
like, right? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
and then my senior year, I was still able to dress up and be, and just I didn't just play, right? I was still able to be
Mm-hmm.
with the team, travel with the team, sit on the bench, cheer my team up,
Nice.
and but yeah, so people kept asking, why didn't you play? And I'm like, I have injury. I'm just
Yeah.
going through stuff right now, trying to
Mm-hmm.
get clear to play, and yeah, so I had to make that transition from that to finance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
just
Facts.
I
I
mean,
mean,
and
like,
and the truth is that all your life you've always been willing to, change. You're not afraid of taking that opportunity. You're not scared, and I think that's one thing that a lot of African kids have. You know what I
facts.
mean? That we have the ability to just persevere in tough
yeah,
moments. You know what I mean? We
correct,
look forward, we move forward. We don't allow the moment to crucify us or to hold us down. We
Yep.
we we strive for for greatness at the end of the day.
Facts. Because,
correct.
I mean, it happens on different levels, right? For some people, it might be moving from literally the village to Lagos. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a huge change in their life. For other people, it's like moving from Lagos to the US. It's
Mm-hmm.
changing from basketball kid to the finance kid.
Yeah,
And it's just like, yo, all these changes, they are huge. It's like, yo, like, I thought I was going to do this, but I'm not going to do this anymore. But this is not going to define me,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm going to
yeah,
move on. Like, and it's one, honestly, it's one of these, like, gifts that I'm glad that our parents kind of instilled that in us. Like, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what,
yeah.
just keep moving.
Just keep
Continue.
moving. Just
Like,
keep moving.
continue.
No,
That's just
definitely.
how it is.
And no, no, I agree. I agree. I think, like this whole when you're sad, I think you should when you're sad, I think you should cry. When you lose stuff like that, I think you should
Yeah.
cry.
Yes, yes, I
But
agree.
when you're
I
Facts.
done
agree.
crying, you need to ask yourself what next.
Yes,
Facts.
100%.
So exactly. So that was what I did. Right. I
Mm-hmm.
spent months, like I was depressed. I was sleeping in the dark. I barely ate or
Mm,
showered, bro.
mm-hmm.
I didn't even want to go to class.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to do anything. I was just like
Yeah.
what the hell, right?
Yeah.
Like what the hell? This is and then I got to a point where I was just like, bro, like
You
you know,
can't stay like this.
bro, a lot of people have died with the same issue. Like people die, people like actually just collapse. Like young boys will be running during conditioning and they will just collapse and they'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, they'll rush them to the hospital. They're dead. They have
Mm-hmm.
an enlarged heart or whatever, right? And I just kept asking myself. I heard this voice in my head. I was like, yo, the fact that they were able to I was able to find out about that when I'm
Mm-hmm.
still alive and I'm still alive today means
Mhm.
there's something else that God actually have in store for me. Maybe basketball
Yes.
was just maybe God used basketball to actually bring me out from Nigeria so I can find out that I have this heart issue,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
right? So that was
Facts.
I started
True.
saying positive in my started saying light in my darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yep.
that's I was just like, you know what, so what next? What do you love to do? I love to make money.
Hey,
We
Simple.
Nigeria
love to
boy,
make
Igbo
money.
boy.
Simple.
We love
I
to
was like,
make money.
I love to make money. I was like, okay, what way
That's
can I make
facts.
money, right? And then I thought about, stock market, right? I was
Yeah.
already using Robinhood to like trade. And then
Mm-hmm.
I asked myself, I just kept asking myself that question. I was like, okay, why don't you go learn more about, trading the stock market? I was like, okay, so what should I do? I was like, okay, let me go get my master's in finance because at that point I was thinking like, okay, finance is all about, the stock market and, investment and stuff like that. So the moment I was able to switch, that my mindset from, just basketball to, oh, let me push that love towards
Yeah.
finance and the stock market and making money, everything just changed for me. So that was
Mm-hmm.
how I was actually the transition was not easy, but I'm grateful that I'm here for real.
Thank God. Thank God. We
Wow.
thank God.
Yeah.
Now, you like you said, you're currently working in IBM. You've done all this stuff. We've briefly talked about your history of just like being on a plane in Nigeria. I wanted to describe like how your situation was so different in Nigeria and like even how the opportunity to get a scholarship to go to the US for basketball even happened because of I myself, I'm a fortunate kid. I had a dad who could provide everything for me to take me to the US and stuff like that. I'm not a 6'7" potential basketball player. I had a fam who could just take me to the US with their
God,
own money. Like, how were you able? Like, what was your living situation in Nigeria and stuff like that? Like, how did that happen for you? Like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because like
Yep.
boys that were in the situation you're probably going to describe right now, that opportunity is like slim to none. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
explain that.
So, man, good, bro. You're bringing a lot of memories, bro. A lot. So I was in a relay normal, like I said, I was in a relay. I was born and raised there in Lagos, and my dad was. I'm not gonna say we're super like poor, but he was okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was, he wasn't rich, right? But he was okay. We were able to go to private schools, and we were able to do things like that. But when he passed when I was 10, and my
Oh
mom
man.
at that point she was a housewife, right? She could not,
Mm-hmm.
she can't raise 7 kids by herself, right? Being a
7
housewife,
kids.
7 of us, and then
Wow.
we went back to the village. I'm actually from Delta State, from Asaba.
Wow.
So
I'm a Delta boy too.
I know,
Tonobo.
I know, yes, sir. So I went. So when I went to, we went back to the village, and it was 7 of us. So my mom was like, okay. My mom was calling her people. My mom was calling, her sister, her brothers, and like, yo, can you guys, help me, raise one of my kids? And so my mom's older sister, my aunt, so she came. So she came for my dad's burial from Brennan KB, bro,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
the northern side of
The
Nigeria.
northern
So
side of
she came,
Nigeria. Yep.
yeah. So she came and she was like, after my dad's burial, she told my mom she can help and she can take one of us. And then she asked my siblings, and everybody said, no, they want to be with my mom. They want to stay together. And she asked me. I was like, yeah, I want to go. Like, so I've always been this kid that, hey, like, where am I going? Like, take me,
Opportunity
right? Like,
comes. Make
so
we
Yeah.
go.
yeah. So I would love to go. I would love to go. I didn't know why, but I just felt like I would love to go. So and then I left. So I left my mom, and of course we did not fly. We took the bus,
Yeah.
bro.
On
The
that dangerous
bus,
Nigerian
From
road.
brother.
from
That
from
shit was
Asaba
24
to
hours. 24 out like a day, I like
Mm.
a whole day, right? Bro, I was car sick. I threw up. I was just like 10, 11, bro. I
Mhm.
Yeah.
threw up. I pooped on myself. I peed, bro. I was like, bro, oh my god,
Oh man, I
oh
can
my god,
imagine, man. Especially like
Nigeria road, man.
as a young child, and then
bro.
like there's also the possibility of police stopping you guys, asking for
For
bribe. You
me,
know, all
like
these
at
like,
night,
bro.
bro, that stuff was so uncomfortable. Yo, then we got to Breeding Cave and my legs was swollen because you've been sitting down for a long time, and it was like
Yeah,
it didn't have the chance to move around my leg, my feet.
the
Yeah,
boss now
everything was
be
like
quite tight too.
tight, bro, swollen as hell. And I got there, and it was way different. Like you just left Lagos and Delta, and then Breeding
Yeah.
Cave. It looks like it looks like desert. It just like, bro,
Oh
bro.
yeah, the desert.
It looks like desert. And then they had this Sharia law where you can go
Wow.
school, boys and girls cannot go school at the same time, right? They have this Sharia law where um,
Yep.
girls go schools and girls will go to school in the morning from 8 to 12, and then
Mhm.
boys will go from 12 to 6.
Wow.
Because they didn't believe boys and girls should actually sit down
Class.
in the same classroom,
Yep.
right? So I had to like start going to school in what's it called, like 12 noon. And then
Yep.
my aunt wasn't, she was trying, she did all the best she could. She sells like fufu. So
Mhm.
what I do is in the morning I will hawk fufu, right?
So
So
you
I'm
used to
able,
hawk fufu,
You
yes,
are hockey
bro.
fufu.
I hawk fufu
Just you
in them
guys.
streets.
Can you explain what hawking fufu is for people who don't understand what hawking fufu is?
So we're gonna pound fufu, right?
Yeah.
So when I got there when I was 11, but because I was so young, I couldn't even pound because I mean
Yeah.
you've seen how the mortar is, right? When you
Yeah, yeah,
pound,
yeah.
Those
you see,
women's hands.
So basically, you're using
Their
like
hands are lovely muscular.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So like it's like a wooden bowl, and then
a
you're
wooden
putting yam
bowl and
inside,
a wooden stick. We
and
call
a
it the
wooden
pea
stick,
stick,
and he's
right? And
pounding.
then you pound the fufu, right?
Yes.
You pound the fufu like a hot like. And what they do is they will mold the cassava. They'll
Mm-hmm.
put the cassava in the fire in like in a boiling hot fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Water, sorry. And then they will take the cassava out and put the fufu into the mortar, and then you pound it until it turns to fufu, until it
Mm-hmm.
turns to what we eat, right?
Yep.
So and while you're pounding that stuff, those the hot water, like the hot water spills out from the fufu,
It's splashing.
and actually splashes you and actually burns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And bro, and then but when I was 11, she didn't let me do it until I was 13. So my older cousins actually pound, and then we'll hawk. We take it to restaurants, we hawk it around the street. We have this in our
They'll
head.
be putting it on the, you know, all those African kids that you see that will put this stuff
Yeah,
on
the
their head.
bucket, bro.
Yes.
So we used to use this wide, long, those paint,
This
those
paint
big
buckets.
paint
Yeah,
Yeah,
paint
buckets, right?
buckets.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what
yeah,
we
yeah.
use, right? We'll fill that stuff with fufu, and you carry it in your head like this walking.
Mm-hmm.
Bro,
Oh
sometimes you
man.
walk like 2 kilometers with that
Yeah,
stuff.
you could balance it on your head. You actually learned
Bro,
how to do that.
yeah, I can balance anything on this head right
Ah!
now. That's a skill.
That's one
That's
skill that I always wanted to learn, but couldn't, because I always see, like, obviously I was semi-privileged. Obviously, that's privilege as pizza. If you go
yeah.
back to our episodes, but like I always looked at the kids hawking, or like the women hawking. They're carrying like literally a basket full of stuff just on their head like this. So me, I'll go home. I'll put like a small cup on my head. I'll
You
have
put
do like
books.
this.
You be putting books
I'll
on
put
your
the
head.
books on my
You
head.
know the secret to that, Chisom? It's not even
What?
your head, it's your neck, right? It's how because it's the neck
Wow.
that supports the head, right? So whatever you
Yep.
put on the head, right, is the neck that actually it shows how strong and thick your neck is actually. So it gets to a point
Wow.
where so when you're hawking stuff, you're building your neck muscle, right? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
actually your neck that supports the head. So that's what it is. So at
Wow.
first, when I started my neck, I was this tiny
Yeah.
kid, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
bro, and it's Brennan Cave. There's this wide wind that actually blows. When
Is the
actually hits
north.
you,
Is the
it's
north.
the
Yeah.
north, bro, the
Yep.
north. I did that from 11 to 15, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when I turned 15, my oldest brother, he got a job, and he was actually making enough money to actually send my mom. Then when I got to 15, he called and he was like, hey, like he actually wants me to come back to Delta State, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so when he told me that, and he wants me
Wait,
to
what's the age difference between you guys?
he like 15 for real, like 15 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay,
My
so
mom
yeah.
had him when my mom was like 17, right, with my dad. So
Wow. Okay.
90, 1979 or some shit. It was up to like
It's a
some,
whole
Yeah.
like
different guy.
15 or 16 or 17 years.
He's
Or
a
something.
man. That's a man.
Yeah, like 15 years or something like. He's 40 something right now. Yeah, what is
Wow.
tell him that. Holy shit, bro. but yeah. So when he asked me to come back, so I came back to Delta State,
Hmm.
and that was when I started growing, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Started playing basketball. That's when I picked up, playing basketball,
Oh, you
and
picked up basketball at 15.
yeah,
Wow.
15.
So that was even quite old.
Yeah, and
You know what I mean? We're back, and we're
Technical
gonna
difficulties.
some technical difficulties happened, but we're back. We're back. So, like Michael, you were saying
yeah.
about going back to Delta from the north, getting into basketball. You know what I mean? Making friends. Like, continue from there, please.
So yeah, I think the last thing I said was, what basketball does for you is actually,
Yep.
help choose your friend and keep you and help
Away
you stay
from
out of
trouble.
trouble, keep you away from trouble. So yeah, so to cut a long story short, so I started playing basketball. I fell in love, right, with the
Mm-hmm.
game, and then we started competing within our schools. So
Mm-hmm.
within the schools within Asaba. So I met guys from Asaba, and and then I started playing. So we always actually after school we walk like we go practice at like 4 p.m. and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, and then we practice till like late. So
Mm.
what happened was I met this guy, Samson Ostilo. He just came from Lagos then, so he's been playing basketball. He was
Mm-hmm.
he was
Yeah.
our Asaba Michael Jordan, right?
Ah, Michael
Mm.
Jordan of Asaba.
He was good, like he was really good, and he used to live like very close to like how Nigeria is. Like my mom is from a particular place in Asaba, and his mom
Yeah.
is from
He's
that
from the
place as well.
village. Okay,
So
that
Mm-hmm.
same
exact.
village,
Yeah.
exactly the same
Yep.
street, the
Yep.
same village. So and his mom
Yeah.
sells food, so we used to like stop by to eat and stuff like that. But
Nice.
he was my other brother's friend, right? So
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
and then my older brother actually introduced me to him because I was actually getting like
Growing up.
tall and stuff
Yeah.
like that, growing
Yeah.
and then my older brother keeps telling him, yo, like this, that he thinks that Obi, like Michael, is gonna be very tall, that he should like carry me along. Like when I tell you this guy was really good, right? This
Yeah.
guy used to like jump two, three people and dunk. Like he
Uh-uh.
360
Wow.
real me like no, that guy was really good. So he
Wow.
was the one that everybody in Asaba, in fact, everybody in Nigeria, then if you're into basketball, you know Samson Osilo. Like he
Wow.
was really, 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 really good. Like
Mm-hmm.
so so what happened was the guy went to a camp. There's this guy UC Davis, this white guy who he's married to a Nigerian guy. So the guy used to come to Lagos and pick like
Mm.
top 50 kids. He does come to Lagos, host a camp, and pick like top 50 high school kids, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this guy Samson Osilo went to that camp, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and he got picked and got like an I-20. That's the scholarship form, right? And then
Yeah.
Yeah.
he got his visa, and then he left Nigeria. He didn't tell anybody. We didn't know, right? But there was rumor like Samson is in New York, Samson is in Lagos, Samson
Oh,
is
so you guys just didn't see this guy anymore.
Yeah.
Just like, where is Samson?
yeah. So we just like we saw him today, and the next day we didn't see Samson, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one day he surprised me when I was sleeping, and then he called my bro. Then it was Skype, right? He called my bro on Skype.
Yeah.
Like, "Hey, bro." And then he was
Skype.
like, my bro woke me up. My bro was like, somebody wants to talk to you. I was like, bro, it was like 2 a.m. I was like, who? He was like, someone wants to talk to you. And then
Yeah.
I was like, he was get up. And then I got up, went to his laptop, and I saw it was Samson.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ah.
he just showed me his window, his room, wearing those American basketball big T-shirt and big
Yeah, yeah,
Jordans.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm like, Samson, where are you? I was like, bro, I'm in New York right now, bro,
Wow.
bro. And I went from saying, okay, I love playing this game, but I can actually make a life with this game, right? So
Mm.
it was a different
It
eye
was a different
opening
feeling.
for me,
Motivation.
right?
Yes,
Different
yes.
Yeah.
vision, a different. And then bro, I spoke to him just 10 minutes. Nigerian network now,
Yeah, yeah,
everything
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
just 10 minutes. That's what.
Internet, all that thing.
And
Wahala
my
day.
and my older brother was like, "There's no." And my older brother looked at me. He was like, "There's no reason why you shouldn't be the next." Right. So that
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
was like I was just like, something is in
No.
New York. And there's something about this American glow. The moment you
Yeah,
hit
yeah.
America,
Facts,
right?
bro.
There's this
Bro.
glow. Your skin,
The
everything, your
skin is
smile.
different, like
That's
that.
something.
Yo, guy, the funny thing is that I thought it was just a Nigerian thing, but like even like I was talking to my Ethiopian friends in school. Even Yarin said it was like, yo, like Ethiopians in the US and Ethiopians in Ethiopia, like it's different. You see, like, okay, you can tell once you see them, like, okay, this guy was in America for a while. This guy has been in Ethiopia for his whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
Yo, that glow
definitely.
is, yep,
And then I caught some of my friends. I was like, yo, the next man I was like, Samson is in America. I saw him, and we started thinking. So I go with a few of my friends, and I was like, hey, like, what should we do? And something was like, something told me actually, he was like, reach out to coach. He was like, you don't have to wait for the camp. Reach out to coach on Facebook, add people, right? So that's how we started, reaching out to people on Facebook, introducing ourselves, and
yep.
that's what we did, right? So what changed my life? There's this guy, Brian Benjamin, right? The guy that actually gave me a scholarship. So what changed my life, sorry, was we were playing, right? So I saw, my friends were talking about some guy. So I walked up to them. I was like, yo, what are you guys talking about? And they were like, oh, there's
Yeah.
this guy, Brian Benjamin, that he seemed very serious, but he's a black guy. He stopped replying them. And I was like, what's his name? They said Brian Benjamin. Bro, there's something in my head. I'm telling you, when God is about to bless you,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot even stop your blessing. You're not even capable of stopping your destiny. Right? When God,
Facts.
like, for real.
Facts.
So something in my head just kept saying, bro, write that name down. Like, bro. And I was like, that shit never happened to me in my entire life before. And
Yeah.
I was like, Brian Benjamin. I went to my, my school bag, my book bag, and I was like, I took my pen and my notes. I was like, Brian Benjamin. I got home that
BB.
night. I told my brother, like, yo, give me 40 minutes on the laptop. He was like, why? I was like, I need to talk to someone. And he gave me 40 minutes. And I was like, bet. And I took the laptop. I looked for him. I added him. I was like, hey, I added him. He, like 10 minutes. He actually, I sent him a request. In 10 minutes, he accepted my friend request. And then I sent
Okay.
him this well written,
Written.
composed
Yeah.
message. Like, hey, my name is Michael Obindu. I am this at this grade. I'm this years old. I aspire to be in the future, that I aspire to be this. And, I just introduced myself and sent him a well
Yep.
thought message. And the guy read that stuff and replied within 2 minutes. And the guy was like,
Wow.
hey, I just wanted to tell you that you caught my attention. Like, nobody, no kid has ever sent me, like, this
This
message that
much
you sent,
detail.
right? It's the way how detailed I was and what I wanted to do. And the guy was like, do you have a workout video? I was
Uh.
prepared. I sent it to him. Do you have an
Okay.
international passport? I sent it to him. Do you have your immunization records? I sent it
I
to
said it to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
bro.
everything.
I don't believe in luck, because when
Yep.
opportunity, meets preparation, right? That's what
Yep.
that's my definition of blessing, right? You don't
Yep.
God cannot bless you if you're not prepared. You cannot say, God,
Facts.
I want to win. Let me win a Tesla car when you don't have a driver's license. Or God, how you gonna drive a car? You know what I'm saying? So that's
Facts.
how I think. So I was like, okay, I had everything. And then he was like, okay, give me a week. 5 days, this guy sent me a scholarship form.
Wow.
Scholarship form, bro.
Just like
And
that.
just like that. And then I was like, being who I am, giving back, I was like, hey, where I'm from, we have a lot of good players, especially girls. Tall girls, 5'10, 5'11, 6 foot girls. And he was like, do
Mm-hmm.
you have their videos? I was like, no, but I can get it I can get them to you tomorrow. And then he was like, okay. And then the next day, the tall girls, like 5, 6 of them, I was like, hey, there's this guy I have, that I know that I think can give us a scholarship fund. Let's just practice layups, moves
Mm-hmm.
between the
Make
legs,
video.
jump shot, like just do things. And they were like, okay. And then I sent it to them. The guy sent me their scholarship form, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just you from that your community that
No,
went.
it
That
was
was
like it
you
was
and
like
like
10
other
to
people.
12 of us. When I left,
Wow.
yeah, from that same guy, so I didn't just want to leave just me, right? So when I left, I told the guy
Makes sense.
about other
Other
people.
people.
And then he
Yep.
was like, we ended up going like that year, it was like 10, 12 of us from the same academy, the same
Wow.
school, girls, guys that actually came to the US. Um,
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yo,
So
I love to
yeah.
hear it, man.
So the guy gave me my first scholarship, and I went to the embassy, the U.S. embassy, 6 times. I was denied
Six
six
times.
times.
Wait. Oh, and you had to go to Lagos, right? Or was it Abuja you
I
went
went
to?
to Abuja. They kept
Oh,
denying me for some reason. I went to my mom. I went with my mom, my older brother, my uncle, my auntie. They kept
you
denying me.
went 6 times.
Oh my god! If it doesn't from oh my god.
Wait, what year was this?
This was so I went. I kept going. This was 2012. I started going from 2011, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Wow.
kept going and going and going and going, and then it got to a point where I was just like, bro, I'm done, right? And then he sends me. He was like, okay. He was like, Mike, I know you're tired, but just one more. Try one more. I was like, okay. And then he sent me AFA, right? And then I
Mm-hmm.
went for AFA. So when he sent me the AFA scholarship, you know, I was so used to hearing no that
Yeah. You
I
were
was
expecting it.
at some point I was expecting it. When I say no, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, thank you, bye. No, like that was my whole mindset. So when I went there
Wow.
for AFA, the lady who interviewed me, she was pregnant. I went there. She was like, "Hey, Michael." I went there like the way I was dressed, my
Yeah.
polo,
Mm-hmm.
button up, with
Button up,
khaki
looking
pants, no
prepped.
sandals,
Like,
no
Mm-hmm.
socks,
yeah.
talking. Like he was like, "Hi, Michael, you look sharp." I was like, "Thank you." And she was like, she was like, "Where are you going?" Like, I'm going to St. Petersburg in Florida. And she was like, okay, great. She was like, and she was, the way when they're interviewing you, they're typing
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And then she was like, oh, how long have you, she was like, oh, how long have you been, how many times have you been denied? I was like, oh, 6 times. She was like, why? Started giving her the reasons. I was like, and I gave her like 4 reasons. And she was like, okay, the fifth and the sixth time. I was like, I don't know. And that's what I just said. And she said,
Yeah.
well, I don't know the reason why. And then I was like, my interviewer actually asked me not to come back until maybe I should give it a try when I'm about to get into college. And she was
Yeah.
like, so why are you here? If they told you, your last interviewer told you that. I was like, because this has always been my dream, to actually
Yeah.
to go to the US, get a degree, and be able to,
Wow.
Play
actually
basketball.
have a better life, play basketball, get a degree, and help my parents. And I feel like just going from high school or prep school is actually going to prepare me for
Prepare
college,
you more.
and
Yep.
that's what I said. And she was like, let me see your scholarship form. And she looked at my scholarship form, and she took my stuff, my form, to I don't know where she went to an office, right?
She
Mm-hmm.
walked away.
She walked away, and in my
That's
head,
actually
I
very
was like,
unusual, guy.
okay, this has been the longest interview. I'm like, maybe this is good news.
Yeah.
And then she came back, and she was like, so Michael, I was like, okay, she was like, I won't be giving you your visa this time. And I thought she was telling me no, I've been denied. But she was like,
Yeah.
she was like, because AFA on the scholarship form, she needs my school to specify that it's a full scholarship, that I'm not liable for anything, right?
Mm.
Then she told me what to change, and then she gave me this letter called the G letter, right? So she said
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to go and book appointment and do the whole process. That I can just come
Yeah.
back when I have the right document, and they will
Yep.
let me in. Right? I was like, okay. I
Nice.
was confused. I was like, okay. And then I called my sponsor, Brian Benjamin. I was like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is what this lady told me, right? And then and he was confused as well, but he was like, okay, I will get you the form. So I got the phone, and then he sent me the right phone. I had to wait for a week, the whole DHL to get the
Yeah.
original. So once I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
the original, I went back to the embassy. It was on Tuesday. Cold. All I had was 100 naira. Oh, the
100
transport
naira.
money.
Wow.
That's all I had.
Let's just explain. 100 naira during that time was probably like 33 cents.
Probably 33
Like,
cents.
Yes.
yo, like
That's all I had.
100 naira. And you're traveling from Asaba to Abuja.
To Abuja. I was in
Mm-hmm.
Abuja, and all I had was 100 naira, and it was 70. It was 70. It was 70. I was living in Lubeju then. No, not Lubeju. Sorry. I was thinking about Lagos, but it was
Lagos, yeah.
it was 70 naira, right, from the embassy to where my cousin, because I was staying with my cousin, where my cousin
Oh,
was.
okay.
So it was $70. So I was left with like $30, literally, and it was 17 naira. So I walked in there, and cold as hell, right? And
Yeah.
I had to wait. They told me I had to wait because I have the G letter, so I have to wait to a specific time, 2 p.m., to
Mm-hmm.
see to see her. So when I got there, what's it called? I got there. I just kept praying. I just kept praying, just
Yep.
to God. I have the
Mm-hmm.
right document. So and then they came back and she called. She was like, "Hey, Michael Obindu." She was like, "Michael Obindu," and then I walked to the window, and she asked me,
Oh, it's the same lady or the
same
different
lady,
different person? Oh
same lady,
wow. Okay.
and she said, do you have the you're supposed to give me a different I-20, a new I-20. I was
Yep.
like, yeah, I have it, and I passed it to her, and she was typing, and then she was like, let me see your passport, and I gave it to her.
Good.
She kept typing, and she looked at me. She started giving me advice like, hey, like she started giving me like advice, was like, hey, you've worked so hard, you've
Mhm.
persevered to be here, make your parents proud. In my head I was like,
Nice.
man, what are you,
Are you, is this yes or no? What's all this?
like,
Yeah.
what's all this, what's going on, right? And then she was like, make your parents proud, go there, do the right thing, make sure you stay in school, and she was like, your visa will be ready in 2 to 3 business days. And she passed me that form, the slip that shows you
Wow.
like instructions as to how to track your visa. She was like, this form, go through it. The form actually, shows you how to get. It's an instruction as to how to get your my visa. And I was like,
Hmm.
looked at her, and she looked at me. She's like, that's it. And the bro
That
screamed. I was like,
you
hey! She
screamed.
was like,
Yeah.
I was like, hey! She was like, Michael, you can't do that out here. I was like, sorry,
You're like comport yourself, fam.
bro. So
Bro,
yeah, that's the
six
story.
times. And I feel like we kind of went through that, but like, yo, it's actually a big deal. Like
Yeah.
when you get denied even once, you're like, bruh. And the thing is that once you get denied once, it's almost like that ripple effect just keeps going and keeps going. Like, I mean, I
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
lucky. I went there one time. I got my visa one time. Like,
Yeah.
I
I,
remember
I,
going
I
there.
never I never had issues with my visa.
six.
Yo, six
I was
times.
denied 67. That's when I got my visa. From 2011
Wow.
to 20, I got my visa in 2013.
You get. I wish we can like find the distance, because the distance between Anambra to
Asaba
Abuja is
too.
not.
Asab,
Sorry.
Asaba,
Sorry, Asaba to Abuja is not like a small type of distance.
Oh
no,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
it's like 10 hours drive, 10,
Yeah.
Yes.
10
Like
hours
So
drive.
and like
So I kept going.
and like bruh. And like it's not even like and the thing is that we had two embassies in Nigeria that I knew of, one in Abuja and one in Lagos.
Correct.
So that
That's
that's that's also one issue of like kids from the east or from like the north or from like south trying to get visa. I don't know if we had in Port Harcourt. I don't think we had an embassy in Port Harcourt. But it's like, bro, like just two embassies in the whole of Nigeria. So if
true.
you're trying to get, you need to travel, and then you not get denied. You go back home, come back again,
Come back
boom,
again,
boom.
denied, go back home,
It's
come
not
back
it's not a funny thing.
all right. So when you got the approval, how was that for like your whole family and everyone, your mom? I mean, like bro, I'm sure that like I just want to see her initial reaction to the visa acceptance, and like now, now you're an IBM, bro.
Yeah, it's like
You're the one of 14500 company in the United States of America, Nigeria boy.
Yeah.
So just tell us like how your mom's initial reaction was that, and like I mean, when last did you go to Lagos?
Since I came,
He has not gone back to Lagos, ladies and gentlemen. He has not gone back. So like
wait, you haven't been back to Lagos since you came since AFA.
since AFA,
since 2013,
Damn. Whoa.
since
Have
2013.
your
yeah.
people come over here?
My mom, I tried to bring my mom over here during my graduation. She was like, nah. She was like, she doesn't want to fly that long. And I
Yeah.
understand. I understand. She's older, like she's in her
Yeah.
60s and stuff. So I was just like,
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the reaction, wow. When I called my mom, I didn't call my mom actually. So the first person I called was Brian. I was like, Brian, my sponsor. I was like, yo, I
Mhm.
was issued a visa. He was like, Michael, you're lying. Like, he didn't even believe it. I was like, no, I got my visa. Like,
Wow.
and they were like, man, you're blessed. You're really
Mhm.
blessed. He was like, your story, you're inspired. Like I'm inspiring. Like
Mm-hmm.
he felt like I motivated him. Like I kept going, even when nobody believed. And then I called my older brother. I called him. He was in Nigeria. He was in Asaba then. And then I called him, and he was like, oh boy, like oh boy, how far? Like, and I was like,
Yeah.
yo. He was like, what's up? Like, guess what? He was like, what's up? Like, yo, I got my visa. He was like,
Bros,
what?
I
You
got the
got your
visa.
visa? I
Yes.
was like, yeah, I got my visa. So I could hear my mom in the background say, what? He got a visa? I could hear them saying, yeah, we went crazy.
Hmm.
Oh man.
Oh. So when I came from Abuja to Asaba with my visa, I felt like a king arriving back home. Like everybody was
Yeah.
waiting
Coming
for
back,
me.
man.
Everybody was outside waiting for me, and I walked
Yeah.
in. And yeah,
But did your other friends have the same issue with the visas as well, or did they
no,
get it and like
no, some of
like
my friends went once. Some were denied like 2 times. Some were denied like 20 times, and they never even got visa. Some,
down?
yeah, some were still back home. But yeah, a few of my friends. But I think I was just in my friends. I was the one who got denied the most. Like
Yeah.
at some point, it was as if I was paying taxes to these people. Like these were just my money. But yeah, but right
Oh
now,
man.
like I don't know. I think my mom. I think he's getting to a point where my mom is just like I don't know how to say this, but I think she's just used to my success. Like I think she's
Hmm.
getting to a point where she's like, okay, I think that this guy is destined for greatness, right? So,
Yeah.
Hmm.
but the things I taught her that I achieved, the generational circle that I've been, and the generational trauma that I've been able to break with this story, and just
Hmm.
just keep going and keep going, and like when I told my bro that IBM offered,
Yeah.
they were like, bro, how from Asaba to IBM, how?
How,
Like they
man?
like
Honestly,
Yo,
that's
that's the
it's just
title
how.
right there. That's the
That's
title right
how.
there. From Asaba to
you
IBM.
know like
Oh
to be
my
honest, Peter
gosh.
and Chiso, when I got my offer later, right, and I
Yeah.
saw my salary, right,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
you know, I didn't know how to feel. Like to be honest,
Yeah.
I was happy, but
Mm-hmm.
I closed my laptop, went down to the gym, I just started working out. I was
Yeah.
like, bro, like what did I even do? What have I
It
done
takes a
to
while for it
deserve
to hit.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was for me, it was just like, bro, what have I done to deserve this? Like,
Hmm.
like when you achieve, when that dream that you've had for a long time, and you achieve that,
Yeah.
and you keep achieving that dream despite your mistakes and everything you've been
Mm-hmm.
through, your struggles and stuff like that, and you're just like, damn, like
How,
how, you know?
bruh?
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
That's
I
your
mean, from
story.
your story, even me, like, it's undeniable. I'm a huge proponent of like, yo, if you put in the work, you will get the benefits at some point. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter when or how or like how long it might take, but you will definitely get it if you put in the work. Even when I got my own offer letter from my company, at that point, obviously, I never had an internship in school, never
Yeah.
did all that,
Me
got
too.
so many denials from Joe. You go to an interview, and your interviewer will ghost you. Yeah, I
Hmm.
get it. Close. I'm just like, was I
Yeah.
that bad?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, reject me well, like be
Hmm.
like, sorry,
Like
you
at
know,
least tell me no, right?
tell me
It's
Yeah.
like
no.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they won't even tell you anything.
That's it. I'm like, guy. But when I finally got the job, like, I was the same way too. Like when I got the offer, I just looked at it. I was just like it's like this is not real. Like I was just because I always feel like something wrong might just go on. Like this might be fake. This might be
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
scam.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like this is not real. It took me a while. It took me like almost 2 days for it to hit. I was like, yo, that's why I started telling people. I was like, okay, like yo, I actually got a job. Oh. Like it took me
Yeah.
2 days for it to enter.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that like you're grateful and you know where you came from and you know the work you put into
Hmm.
to like get to the point where you are right
Yeah,
now. It's just like honestly, you couldn't have done it. Like I mean, you believe in God. I believe in God. It's like yo, I couldn't have done this without God.
facts,
At the
Straight
end of
up.
the day.
facts,
Straight
straight
up.
up.
Without God,
Like
it's not possible.
it's not because we're the smartest, the hardest worker or whatever, or the
Facts.
guys who strive the most. It's just like at the end of the day, it's just by His grace, bro. Like
Hmm.
when
Facts.
I saw that offer,
Facts.
bro, I called my mom. I called my older sister. She was like, Obi, why, why does God like you this much? Like,
Why
I was
does
like,
God
sister,
like
I
you,
don't know.
fam?
She was like, bro, like I didn't completely read the offer for
Mm-hmm.
1 week. My manager kept asking me, I'm like, man, you have to give me a week because I'm still not able to contain my excitement. That's what I told her.
Hmm.
Like, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am, you have to give me some time. She was like, take all the time you need in the world, right? Because I had
Hmm.
I had zero internship experience. I didn't have a
Hmm.
green card, right? and people were telling me how you can't, you need experience to work in Fortune 500 companies or this top
Facts. Yep,
firms, and
exactly.
you need a green card to do this and do that. The fact that I'm able to like do all this without those qualifications, bro,
Qualifications,
like
yeah.
it's just a blessing, bro. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
my story, and yeah.
I told you guys that this story was going to be legendary. I literally told you guys that this story was going to be legendary. Oh my gosh,
Facts,
bro.
man, facts. Like I'm even feeling motivated myself
Me
right
too,
now.
me
I'm feeling
too.
motivated because it's like
too.
it wants you to like keep going.
Never
keep
give
going.
up. Honestly, never give up. That's the
'Cause-
truth.
And
That's
like
the truth.
one of the important things you said, I just want to rehash that was like, yo, like I don't like he doesn't believe in luck. I don't believe in luck too. It's
Yeah,
like, bro,
same here.
opportunity meets preparation. Make sure you're prepared for your blessing. Because if your blessing comes and you're not ready, they're gonna ask you, do you have workout video? I don't have.
Yeah.
Passports, I don't get. Like what do you have? That's it. You now start telling Brian Benjamin stories like, okay, give me 1 week. And you don't obviously like you may have still have worked, but some people will be like, oh yeah, I don't have time for this.
I don't have time
Moving
for
on.
that. He's not serious.
He's not a serious
Not
guy.
ready.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So never forget those. Make sure you're putting in the work and make sure you're ready for your blessing too, because you never know. But yeah, honestly, it was dope. Like hearing your story.
Yeah,
Like,
really, it was amazing. But
Yeah.
obviously, we want to talk more. But this is going to be like a 5-hour episode because we can talk about the state of Nigeria, and a whole bunch of array of things.
yeah.
But let's call it a day for this episode because I think it was good that we just ended it there. Just a beautiful saying. So Obi, can you give us the proverb for this episode?
So my proverb for this episode is only a fool tells the depth of a river with both feet. It's only a fool that tells the depth of a river with both feet.
All right,
Word,
thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
wisdom. Come
Thank
through
you.
next week for the
It's been
interpretation.
your boy, Peter Ikechuki and Chibuzo Aliogo.
And it's your boy Chisom Ejikeme Jeremiah Okafor.
Obi, come on.
And it's your boy, Obindu.
And we out, baby.
Thank you guys
Bye.
for having me, man. Thank you guys for having me. I
Peace.
truly appreciate
You're welcome, bro.
to have this platform to share my story and hopefully, inspire and motivate other people as well. Don't give up on your dreams. Keep going, for real. Just believe, man. It takes, even if other people don't see your dreams or don't understand your dreams, it's not in their place to understand, bro. As long as you're seeing it yourself and you believe in yourself, that's all it takes. For real. That's all it takes.
And like something we forgot to ask, so where can we find you guys? Like if people want to reach out to you,
Yeah,
if we
so-
want to reach out to you, like is it Instagram, is it LinkedIn, is it Twitter, is it like
Yeah.
what do you like?
So I'm not a big Twitter fan because I think Twitter has a lot of drama, right? Instagram is so easy. You can slide in that DMs or whatever.
We'll have your
Add
Instagram there. We'll have your Instagram
Yeah.
there. Don't worry about it.
Just
To
tag
be fair.
me, Peter. You do have my Instagram, so just start my Instagram.
Yeah. No, you see it. You see it for sure. You see it for sure.
Facts,
All
love
right,
it,
guys.
love
Thank
it.
you very much for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Are we out? That's
We
been the
out,
Afro
baby.
Journal podcast.
Peace.